All right, so we're back. Lesson 2. So in this lesson, it's something that probably goes over so many people's heads, but I've been in a bunch of different situations where I've experienced this and it's really unpleasant. And we're going to go over it. This lesson is going over the importance of listening before speaking. All right. So have you ever been in a situation where you're having a conversation with someone, whether you know them for a long time or it's just someone you're meeting for the first time, and while you're talking, they keep cutting you off over and over again, or they always do it? If you've known them for a long time, it's something that they do consistently and they're kind of just known for it. Is that annoying to you? Is that person you? This is, I'm laughing, but it's something that I think many people deal with and they don't necessarily understand how to have some self-control and handle that. So it's a big communication problem, and it's a big wall that blocks people from developing relationships with each other, because when you can't communicate and allow someone else to communicate back to you because you're so focused on what it is you're trying to say, it's not the best thing when it comes to connecting with somebody. So again, the goal is we want to be able to help grow our network. We want to be able to grow our network so that we can not only get opportunities brought to us because of who we know, right? As the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But you also want to have, a thriving social life, and that's something that we talk about a lot here. That's one of the biggest points of this course. So to understand the basics of just connecting with somebody on a communication level in a conversation is so important. Easiest thing to do is first be aware of that. Be aware if that's you, right? If that is you. And this part of the course, lesson 2, is really talking to that person that doesn't realize it. And I hope that me saying this allows your brain to jog and think and say, wait a minute, like, damn, I kind of do that. All right. We don't want to do that anymore. We want to wipe that habit clean. Okay. And the reason being is this: when you allow someone else to talk, listening before speaking, what you're allowing to happen naturally is that person is letting their guard down. The more you let them talk, the more, and before I go further, it's not only about just letting them talk, it's about genuinely listening. Genuinely listening. So one, human beings love to talk, right? We just love to talk, and we love to talk about ourselves. If you know that, allow them to do so. But as you allow them to talk, genuinely listen to what it is that they're saying. Really hear what they're talking about, getting their perspectives. The reason you want to do that is because people can also sense when you're not paying attention. People can also sense when you're not paying attention because you just want to hurry up and get your point across. Those things are just bad habits that you don't want to, if you have them now, you don't want to carry them on forever, because you're going to get that stigma with other people and they're not going to want to necessarily have you around. It's weird. It's kind of like an unspoken law, but it is something that you have to be aware of. Also, when you think about when you have a conversation, right? Maybe you have a teacher that you have a really good relationship with. Maybe if you have a spouse, right, that you guys communicate well with each other, or a parent or a sibling. Think about the people who you connect well with from a conversation standpoint. The reason why I use that word connect, because it's the root of the connection. The root of the connection is both of your ability to hear each other out. So when you cannot allow someone else to talk freely without cutting them off, them getting out their points across, and you genuinely not listening to what they're saying, all you're doing is destroying the potential connection that you guys can have. Now, again, we're humans and we live on Earth, and we're probably not going to connect with everybody. But for the most part, we're humans and we're social creatures, and we should be able to connect with a lot of people. This is something that I just don't think enough people pay attention to. And if you're saying to yourself, well, man, sometimes I wonder what to even say to people. I don't know what to say. I have no idea how to say things to people. So like I said, we're going to get into that stuff a little bit later, but Think about this. If you're having a conversation with someone, you're genuinely listening, you're allowing them to free flow and talk about what it is they're talking about. Here's what's going to happen. The more they speak is the more intel and data that you get from them. It's the more information that you get to then ask more questions. See, I think something that maybe scares people when it comes to having dialogue with anyone in a public setting, especially if they're just meeting them for the first time, right? That's when you're really nervous and not really know what to say, unsure of yourself, etc. One of the easiest things to do when you start off a conversation is just asking them simple questions, genuinely listening, and using that information that they give you to ask more questions. There goes your conversation. Your fear in not knowing what to say is gone. It's eliminated. I'll give you an example. You're at a function, you have a conversation with somebody that you're just meeting. Maybe you're at a bar. Let's say it's at a corporate event. There's an open bar at your job, and you're next to somebody, and it might be someone that you know that potentially has the opportunity to unlock a whole new door in your career for you, right? What's going on, man? How's everything? Let's say you guys don't know each other. What's going on, man? My name is Michael Jex. How are you guys doing? You say your name. My name is blank. How are you doing? Okay, cool. What's your name? They say their name. Okay, cool. How long have you been working here? They, give you the answer. It's amazing. How much have you liked it since you've been here? How have you been enjoying your time since you've been working here? Oh, it's been great. Okay, cool. Did you go to school for this, or did you, go to school for something else? Oh no, I went to school for, engineering. Wow. Okay, cool. How was that? Was that hard? Was that a hard thing to do in school? And obviously, I'm speeding this up, but when you're genuinely listening, you're getting all this information from somebody. It's easy to then have a conversation. Yeah, I went to MIT for engineering, right? Which is a major school. Wow. I have a cousin that used to live 6 miles down the road from MIT. I'm familiar with that area. I mean, that's a prestigious school. Tell me more about it. How was that experience? Every answer unlocks the door for more and more questions to be asked, and the conversation can be endless. You can do that with business partners. You can do that, or potential business partners. You can do that with potential friends if you're in a social setting and you just want to mingle with people. Do that, right? If there's somebody, if you're a man and you want to approach a woman, do that. Okay. Again, this is more so for social settings, but yeah, let's say you're nervous and you didn't know what to say to somebody that you wanted to approach that you found attractive, ask them questions about themselves. Don't do it in a weird way either. Just be cool about it. And what I mean by being cool about it is, just do it in a relaxed state. Don't be robotic about it, because you can be listening to this course right now and you're like, okay, cool. I just got to keep asking questions. I got to just ask questions. Okay, cool. So again, you're putting yourself in a situation where you're just machine gunning questions to a lady, and you just don't seem genuine with your approach. You want to be genuine. You want to use a word that I love. You want to use finesse. Use some finesse in this whole situation here. And I promise, if you just practice this, when you have a conversation, let people talk free flowing. When they're talking, genuinely listen, genuinely want to hear them out, to understand them better, to get their perspectives. And you do that often. You ask them questions when they're talking to you and giving you all of that information about themselves. And you do it in a relaxed state, and you're not doing it in a way where you're trying to force anything, or you're trying to, to pry into too much of their personal life. You don't want to do that either, especially when you're just meeting somebody for the first time. But just have a level of awareness of it. And I hope that this lesson here just helped you with that a little bit more, of being aware, letting people talk, asking questions with the information that they give you, and just being genuine about listening to their answers. And that's it. You do that, if you repeat that over and over again, I promise that, that's the fear of approaching people, the fear of not knowing what to say when you're out and about, that goes completely out the window when you know that the answers all lie within the questions that you ask and genuinely listening. That's it.